everyone, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to discuss one of the most essential subjects in the history of childhood education in Britain, and here we will pay special attention to elementary education of 1870. So this legislation was a major shift in children's education by changing how education and how children could get an education back in the day. So it is high time to understand the evolution point in children's education and the reason why it's critical. So, let's start. Education in Britain was not compulsory until the 19th century. This means the majority of children, mostly the working class, were denied any form of education. This meant that many kids were forced through circumstances to work at a tender to young age, taking up dangerous and unhealthy jobs. Very unhealthy. Uh, Employees, children were working, and education was perceived more as enjoyment than as given. So, however, the social and economic environment has changed over time. Um, over time, you know, over the centuries. Towards the middle of the industrial revolution, people exercising rationality emerged as important sources of human capital. People began to press for children's right, recognizing education of all as necessary for every child. This brings us to the Elementary Education Act of 1870. So, of more historic nature was the Education of Act of 1870, or the Foster Act, to be precise with you. It created the basis for schooling for children that was to be compulsory in England and Wales. It empowered local authorities to form boards that could put up and run schools. That was the first time education could be said to have been granted as right for all children, regardless of their status. So the act was revolutionary. One of its objectives was to guarantee basic education for every child. The school boards were also on the doctrine of free schooling for the children from 5 to 13. However, the act didn't automatically achieve attendance, and many poor families remained unable to send their children, unfortunately, to school because they couldn't afford the fees, and many children had to work and contribute to household income. Sad reality of the past. Nevertheless, it was the Elementary Education Act that paved the way to many subsequent reforms in the sphere of education itself. To some extent, it inspired other legislation, therefore escalating funding for schools in addition to enhanced conditions. Gradually, education was available for people, and the public realized it is an important thing. So, future laws were enacted after the Act of 1870 to extend education for the society. For example, the Education Act of 1880 that established the basics of compulsory education, stating that children, both boys and girls, must attend school. Um, must attend school at least until the age of 10, but that obviously changed. Subsequently, in 1944, the Education Act even further by increasing the minimum age to 15. And I think now it's actually 18, but I think it depends on state. It just depends on state and private and public schooling. Today, a child in the UK is considered to have a right of education, just like they have the right to free speech, free will, yada yada yada. There has been a history in its development born out of by social forces, economic requirements, and reform leaders. Knowledge of this history assists in explaining why education is valued and why the ongoing push to increase educational opportunity and effectiveness for children is important. So this kind of wraps everything about the Education Act. So this video we covered Education Act of 1870. We went over a little bit about child labor laws and the minimum requirements of age. So thanks for watching the video and listening to the information shared as we explore the history of early education in Britain. If you did like the video, you should also give the thumbs up, subscribe, and of course tell me your opinion in the comments down below.